Nobody planned for it to turn out like this. Not the producers, not the league, not even NBC, because this was supposed to be easy. A quick segment, a cute crossover moment. Look, the college star is here. Smile, wave, talk for 2 minutes, leave. That's what everyone assumed. Instead, by the end of the night, the entire building fell off. Phones buzzing, executives whispering, veterans staring at the screen like they had just seen something they weren't meant to see. Because somehow, in less than 2 hours, Caitlin Clark didn't look like a guest. She looked like the main event. And that's where the problem began. It started quietly. No breaking news, no dramatic intro, just a normal NBA broadcast on NBC Sports. Highlights rolling, crowd noise humming, analysts joking. Then the host casually says her name. Joining us tonight, Caitlin Clark. Simple, harmless? Except it wasn't, because the second the camera cut, the energy shifted. You could feel it. Not hype, not excitement. Something heavier, something uncomfortable, like the room suddenly realized this wasn't supposed to happen yet. She wasn't supposed to be here. Not this fast. Not this big, not on this stage. But there she was, calm, relaxed, no nerves, no rookie awkwardness, sitting between veteran analysts like she'd been doing this for 10 years. And here's the wild part. She didn't act impressed. She didn't look grateful. She didn't behave like someone who'd just been invited to the biggest basketball stage in America.
And the NBA players on set, I'm going to wear stilts next time you see her there with Carmelo and Reggie Miller. And that's with Reggie Miller saying he's the third best shooter in the state of Indiana right now.
There's a new shooter from Indiana. See, I'm the third best shooter in the state of Indiana now. Okay. It goes Caitlin, Tyrese, and now myself.
We'll have to get Tyrese's opinion on that. I'm not sure Tyrese would agree.
So there you go. Caitlin talking about that, poking fun at the appearance. That was one of the first things that stood out. Then there is the important question, which came later in the broadcast about the CBA. And one thing you have to like about it is Caitlin Clark was confident.
She talked like she owned it, breaking down pick and roll coverages, calling out defensive mistakes, correcting the host, correcting former players. Like she wasn't trying to fit in, like she already belonged. And viewers noticed instantly because social media started moving fast, clips spreading. Wait, she's actually good. Why is she this comfortable? How does a rookie sound like this? It wasn't cute anymore. It wasn't hype anymore. It was authority. And authority is dangerous, especially when you didn't plan for it. Now, here's what fans didn't see behind the scenes. Phones were already lighting up. Front office staff texting each other. Are you watching this? Why is she on prime time? Since when did this happen? There.
No more iconic figure in basketball, in women's game right now, or the game in general, about Caitlin Clark. In the game in general, lads, all I gotta say is that that is not something that the WNBA would be happy with. We saw it. The WNBPA said that Alyssa Thomas was the reason why people are watching. And by the way, it's not even, people are like, oh, it was the finals about Alyssa Thomas. No. They literally said it wasn't just the playoffs, but our regular season broke records as fans went to watch Alyssa Thomas.
Because for years there was an unspoken rule. WNBA stars stay in their bubble. NBA stays in theirs. Separate worlds, separate attention, separate money. Nobody crosses that line, especially not rookies. But nobody told Caitlin Clark that rule existed, or maybe she just didn't care. So while others waited their turn, she stepped straight onto the biggest stage in basketball media, like the doors were never locked. And then came the moment nobody expected. They cut to the arena feed. Madison Square Garden. Packed, loud, historic, the kind of place legends are made. And the crowd. They weren't chanting for the NBA stars. They weren't chanting for the game. They were chanting her name. Caitlin, Caitlin, Caitlin. On an NBA night. Think about how insane that is. A WNBA rookie getting louder cheers than NBA veterans inside Madison Square Garden. That's not normal. That's not marketing. That's takeover energy. And takeover energy scares people, especially people in charge, because suddenly this isn't a guest appearance. This isn't a cross promo. This is something else. This feels like a shift, and shifts mean control is slipping.
Biggest star is saying she's confident a CBA will get done. Then there were some other topics hit up on the broadcast as well, including her wanting to play at Madison Square Garden. You know, that is where she was broadcasting from, the Knicks and the Lakers. It is a great arena. I've spent a lot of time in the Garden.
Lakers and the Knicks taking center stage here for the 302nd overall meeting. And for the first time ever, we've got basketball night in America, the first Sunday in February. And we're joined by our special correspondent. Welcome to the team, Caitlin Clark. Yes.
Welcome. MSG for Knicks games. It's pretty cool.
I know, it's her first Knicks game, first time.
Inside the Women's National Basketball Association offices, insiders later said the same word kept popping up: unplanned. Nobody planned for her to dominate the broadcast. Nobody planned for ratings to spike. Nobody planned for NBA fans to say, "Who is she? I'm watching for her." That's when the fear creeps in. Because if fans follow her, they don't need the league. If networks call her directly, they don't need the league. If sponsors want her face, they don't need the league. And once a player doesn't need the system anymore, the system gets nervous. Veterans felt it too. Imagine grinding 10 years, empty seats, commercial flights, low pay, fighting for respect. Then a 22-year-old walks in and, in one night, gets more national exposure than you've had in your whole career. That doesn't feel inspiring. That feels personal. That feels like you're getting replaced. So the whispers started. This is too much. They're forcing her everywhere. It's just hype. But the numbers kept climbing. Every segment she touched, ratings jumped. Every clip she appeared in, engagement exploded. Not slightly, massively. Which exposed the one thing nobody wanted to admit. She wasn't riding the league's popularity. The league was riding hers.
But listen, there's a new shooter from Indiana. I'm the third best shooter in the state of Indiana now. Okay. It goes Caitlin, Tyrese, and now myself.
We'll have to get Tyrese's opinion on that. I'm not sure Tyrese would agree.
Right here. She's taking over for me right now.
Into the arena.
Well, I feel fortunate enough. A lot of the arenas we go into, a lot of people are cheering for our team, which is pretty nice.
Snap.
But there are some road games. I think even the Liberty fans, San Francisco, the Valkyries have a great crowd. Like, you want to take them out of it right away. You want to make them call the first time out. I think that's kind of what we always talk about. But that's what makes it fun. And I like what he said. If you're a star, like, these are the games you show up for. And that's really true. Like, these are the games that just mean a little bit more. Like MSG on a Sunday night. Like, that's what you get up.
That's backwards, and backwards is dangerous. Then something even weirder happened. She wasn't just good on camera. She started controlling the room. Hosts asking her questions. Guests deferring to her takes. Former NBA players nodding while she explained plays. A rookie teaching veterans on national television. That's not normal. That's dominance. And dominance creates enemies fast because now it doesn't look like, look how far women's basketball has come. It looks like, why didn't we see this coming? And nothing embarrasses executives more than missing the future. Because insiders say something brutal. NBC wasn't even the first call. Another network hesitated, delayed, overthought it. A classic mistake. While they were evaluating, NBC moved fast, signed, booked, done, and overnight they owned the story. Which means someone else missed it badly, and when you miss a generational star, people remember. Now here's where it gets tense. Because after the show ended, the silence was loud. Not celebration. Not congratulations. Silence, like the room had just watched history change and didn't know whether to clap or panic.
More iconic figure in basketball in the women's game right now, or the game in general. So we said, let's have a bigger conversation. And it's just so crazy that it feels like every other sport will just come out and say what it is besides the WNBA. The NBA is not scared to acknowledge that there's no more iconic figure in basketball. Not just the women's game, but possibly the game in general than Caitlin Clark. But we would not hear that in the WNBA space. We wouldn't hear that from WNBA media. But the NBA media and the NBA and the league itself is not scared to say it. Like we've seen it when Caitlin does golf events. It just seems like every league but her own is not scared to say the truth. But I do think it's really cool.
Because deep down, everyone realized something. Caitlin Clark didn't debut on NBC. She didn't guest star. She didn't cameo. She crossed over. And once someone crosses over like that, you can't put them back in a box. She wasn't just a WNBA player anymore. She was a basketball figure, period.
No labels, no limits.
And once you reach that level, you stop asking permission. You start choosing platforms, choosing networks, choosing opportunities. That's power. Real power. And organizations hate when players have power because power means leverage. Leverage means control shifts, and control is everything. So when the lights shut off that night, and the crowd finally went home, and the clips kept spreading, one uncomfortable thought kept floating around league offices. If she did this on her first NBC appearance, what happens next time? Because this didn't feel like a peak. It felt like a warning shot, like the beginning of something bigger, something the system wasn't ready for. And maybe that's why nobody wanted to say it out loud, but everybody was thinking it. This wasn't just a debut. This wasn't just TV. This wasn't just hype.
It doesn't matter what arena it is, what venue, home, road. The biggest thing is Caitlin Clark being back playing basketball and healthy. But, her crack there was good, too. The Liberty probably aren't going to want to move over. She knows the history. The Liberty were owned by the Garden, Dolan, and MSG. They are now owned by Joe Tsai and the play over at Barclays in Brooklyn. So there's no chance the Liberty would ever play in Madison Square Garden if you know the dynamics between the Knicks and the Nets in the city.
This was the night Caitlin Clark stepped onto a stage bigger than her league and made it look easy. And when someone makes history look easy, that's when you know the game just changed forever.